Hundreds of excavators and material-hauling trucks have begun moving across the area surrounding Giga Texas to begin construction on a next-generation chip manufacturing plant, a $25 billion facility that could shatter the limits of today's largest semiconductor producers. If Tesla were only short a few chips, Elon Musk could do something simple: call Samsung, TSMC, or NVIDIA, sign additional contracts, pay more, and wait for delivery. But this time, the problem isn't that small. This is no longer just about an electric car company needing extra components for the Model Y or Cybertruck. This is about a tech empire reaching a point where the entire current semiconductor industry may no longer be fast enough, cheap enough, or flexible enough to support its ambitions. If computing power is the oil of the 21st century, then Musk is essentially declaring he's found a way to build his own ocean of it, cutting off dependence on any other nation or power. And that's why Terrafab exists. So how will this $25 billion project shake the world? A $25 billion project already sounds massive. But the more unsettling question is, what happens if Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI all need so many chips that the world simply can't supply them in time? If chips are the brains behind self-driving cars, humanoid robots, Starlink satellites, and future AI data centers, then whoever controls the chip supply controls the pace of the game. Yeah, that's exactly what makes Terrafab one of Elon Musk's boldest bets. Not because of its size, but because it signals he no longer wants Tesla waiting in line within the global supply chain. He wants to pull the most critical part of the future closer to himself. And if it works, Terrafab could push Tesla beyond competing with automakers and into the arena of chip giants like TSMC, Samsung, and Intel. Terrafab has been confirmed by Elon Musk as a chip manufacturing complex that could target 1 terawatt of computing capacity per year, while the entire U.S. power grid is often compared at around 0.5 terawatts. In other words, Musk isn't just looking to produce chips for a few Tesla vehicle lines. He's talking about a level of computational capacity so vast that it rivals what an entire national power system can represent in scale. If you imagine the entire U.S. electrical grid as a massive light bulb illuminating a continent, then Terrafab's 1 terawatt ambition is like trying to generate enough computing power to light up 2 continents at once. If each chip operates at around 250 watts, then reaching 1 terawatt of computing capacity would require Terrafab to produce roughly 4 billion chips per year. 4 billion chips annually is no longer the scale of a car company. Yeah, you're now talking about the scale of a global industrial infrastructure. As unbelievable as it sounds, Terrafab could eventually aim for 100 million square feet of total floor space, about 10 times the size of Giga Texas, and far larger than campuses like Apple Park, 2.8 million square feet, or Microsoft's Redmond campus with 8 million square feet. In the past, Tesla was called an EV company. Today, that label is no longer sufficient. A modern Tesla isn't just a battery, a motor, and a touchscreen. It's a mobile AI device, constantly processing camera input, analyzing its surroundings, predicting the behavior of other vehicles, pedestrians, lane markings, traffic lights, and hundreds of micro-scenarios happening every second. Back in the era of the Roadster, Model S and Model X in-car chips were mainly used for systems like battery management, motor control, infotainment displays, and a handful of driver assistance features. At that time, each vehicle only required a limited number of key chips, and Tesla's production volume ranged from a few thousand to tens of thousands of cars per year. Chip demand was significant, but not yet at a level that could reshape the company's entire strategy. From 2019 to 2022, Tesla began designing its own chips for Hardware 3 to support full self-driving. But even then, AI still functioned more like an added capability rather than the core of the entire business. Tesla could still rely on suppliers like TSMC, Samsung, NVIDIA, or others without feeling completely constrained. After 2023, however, the picture shifted dramatically. Tesla was no longer just talking about selling cars. They started talking about robotaxi, cybercab, Optimus, and the possibility of turning millions of physical devices into real-world AI machines. A self-driving car doesn't just need chips to run a display. It must process input from multiple cameras, recognize objects, predict the behavior of other vehicles and pedestrians, interpret lane markings and traffic lights, and handle hundreds of micro-scenarios every second. A humanoid robot like Optimus is even more complex. It has to maintain balance, control dozens of mechanical joints, understand objects, and learn tasks in environments that were never designed for robots. When every car and every robot becomes a mobile AI brain, chip demand no longer grows gradually. It can explode. And all of this requires chips, not the standard ones used for infotainment or simple control systems, but highly specialized AI chips optimized for performance, power efficiency, and real-time processing. Because Terrafab is a joint venture between Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI, it means Tesla isn't the only one that needs chips. It's just one part of a much larger equation. The reality is that even SpaceX is entering a phase where chips are becoming mission-critical. Starlink is already a massive satellite network, but if Elon Musk truly wants to turn space into a platform for AI data processing, future Starlink satellites won't be able to rely on conventional chips. They'll need processors that can withstand radiation, operate in extreme temperatures, consume power efficiently, and still deliver high-performance computing at scale. xAI, meanwhile, represents another kind of chip hunger. Training and running large AI models requires enormous computational power, arguably more than what Tesla or SpaceX need individually. As Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI advance together, chip demand is no longer growing linearly. It could surge exponentially. That's why Musk's challenge is no longer, where can we buy more chips, but rather, if we don't build our own production capacity, will this entire ecosystem hit a bottleneck? According to Elon Musk at the Terrafab event, all existing chip manufacturing capacity on Earth can currently meet only about 2% of the AI chip demand that the combined ecosystem of Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI is expected to require in the coming years. That's an extremely small fraction compared to their projected needs. What's interesting is that Tesla has followed a similar path before. When it needed batteries, it didn't remain just a customer of Panasonic forever. It partnered, learned, accumulated expertise, and eventually moved toward developing its own 4680 battery technology. Terrafab may be repeating that same playbook, but at a much higher level of difficulty. Building batteries is already hard. Building cutting-edge chips is far more brutal. A chip factory isn't just a large building filled with expensive machines. It's an entire ecosystem: clean rooms, photolithography equipment, materials engineering, semiconductor design, advanced packaging, testing, yield optimization, and an extremely delicate supply chain. Even a tiny flaw in the process can turn entire batches of wafers into scrap. That's why Terrafab shouldn't be seen as just another "Musk builds the biggest thing in the world" headline. It's better understood as a high-risk but calculated move if chips become the new bottleneck for AI, robotics, and autonomous driving. Then relying entirely on external suppliers could mean losing control over the company's own future. That's also why Intel becomes such a key player in this story. Intel has something Musk cannot create through speed alone: deep semiconductor manufacturing experience. In the chip industry, experience isn't measured by presentations or stage announcements. It's built over decades of running fabs, troubleshooting failures, improving yields, controlling processes, and turning designs into real mass-produced products. So Intel's involvement doesn't make Terrafab any less impressive. If anything, it makes the project more grounded in reality. Elon Musk may be known for wanting to build everything himself. But with Terrafab, the smarter move might be recognizing that he doesn't have to do it all alone from day one. That's why the Terrafab story shouldn't start with "how big is this factory?" but with a deeper question: why is Musk willing to step into one of the most expensive, complex, and unforgiving industries on Earth? The answer becomes clearer when you look across his companies. If Tesla has to wait for chips, everything slows down. Robotaxi and Optimus, two of the most ambitious AI-driven products Tesla has ever pursued, could easily fall behind. Musk himself has described them as some of the most important products the company has ever attempted. If the supply of advanced chips becomes the bottleneck, then the entire ecosystem risks stalling before it can fully take off. At the same time, if xAI runs short on computing power, Elon Musk risks losing his most critical weapon in the race for AGI. In a worst-case scenario, Grok could end up as just a fun chatbot on X rather than becoming the world-changing artificial intelligence it was meant to be. SpaceX faces a similar constraint. Without the right chips for space-based systems, its ambitions for orbital data infrastructure would stall. And for Musk, relying on others and waiting is often the biggest risk of all. According to the announced roadmap, production could begin at around 100,000 wafers per month, with a long-term ambition of scaling up to 1 million wafers per month at full capacity. For comparison, 1 million wafers monthly could approach roughly 70% of the current global output of TSMC. Naturally, such claims raise serious questions about feasibility. Tesla has never operated an advanced semiconductor fab. Tesla excels at electric vehicles and large-scale manufacturing, and SpaceX at rockets, but semiconductors are an entirely different world. A 2 nanometers chip facility isn't like a car assembly line. It requires ultra-clean rooms, EUV lithography machines, atomic-level material control, highly experienced engineers, and high yield rates to avoid burning massive amounts of capital. That's why the 1 million wafer target may sound exaggerated today. However, Collaboration with Intel could make Terrafab far more viable, and there may be additional partners joining the project in the future. Terrafab is expected to produce two main categories of chips. The first is AI chips for full self-driving, robotaxi, and Optimus. The second is space-grade chips like D3 designed for Starlink and orbital systems. Based on Musk's latest timeline, AI-5 chips could enter limited production around 2026, followed by mass production in 2027. After that, AI-6 and AI-7 are expected to follow quickly, with performance far exceeding most chips Tesla currently uses. Meanwhile, D3 chips are aimed at the harsh conditions of space where radiation, extreme temperatures, and strict cooling constraints are major challenges. These represent two very different chip philosophies, one for Earth, where vehicles and robots must interact dynamically with humans, and one for space, where AI processing can happen closer to satellites and the Starlink network itself. In its early phase, Terrafab doesn't need to produce billions of chips right away. Its first role is to become an industrial testing hub. There, Tesla can design chips, build prototypes, test wafers, evaluate performance, measure power consumption, monitor temperatures, see how chips respond to real camera data, and then iterate on the design. A testing cycle like this, if spread across multiple locations and partners, could take weeks or even months. But if everything is concentrated near Giga Texas, the learning cycle could be significantly shortened. Placing Terrafab near Giga Texas allows Tesla to test these requirements in a more realistic context. Chips can be evaluated not just in labs, but also in vehicles, robots, production lines, and real-world operating conditions. This is a major difference between buying off-the-shelf chips and designing chips tailored to your own products. A chip made for hundreds of different customers has to balance many competing goals. But Tesla's chips can be optimized for very specific tasks: autonomous driving, humanoid robots, real-time AI processing, performance per watt, and scalability in manufacturing. Another key point is that Terrafab is not just about reducing chip costs. Cost is certainly part of the story. If Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI need massive quantities of chips, buying externally forever would be extremely expensive. But the bigger benefit is control. If Tesla owns the design and moves closer to manufacturing, it can decide what the chip should prioritize: performance, power efficiency, latency, thermal tolerance, software integration, or mass manufacturability. This is similar to how Apple transitioned from Intel chips to Apple Silicon. By taking deeper control over its hardware, Apple was able to create MacBooks that are more powerful, cooler, and more energy efficient because the chips are designed specifically for its operating system and products. Tesla aims to do something similar, but at a far more complex scale, spanning self-driving cars, robots, satellites, and AI. Even so, Terrafab's long-term scale remains an enormous challenge. The phase next to Giga Texas is only the beginning. If the ultimate goal is a complex spanning around 100 million square feet, consuming massive amounts of power and producing on the order of hundreds of thousands to a million wafers per month, Tesla will need far more than just an expansion next to its current factory. They will need land, water, electricity, supply chains, machinery, workforce, and years of debugging and iteration. So the most reasonable way to view this is, Giga Texas is not the entirety of Terrafab, but the starting point. It's where Tesla learns how to design, test, and integrate chips before moving toward production at a scale large enough to reshape the industry. Terrafab isn't just about cost. Many people might assume Musk is building a chip factory to make cheaper chips. That's true, but it's not the whole story. What Musk really wants is control. Control over design, production volume, testing speed, how chips interact with software, and ultimately control over the future of Elon Musk's products. That's the part that could make Terrafab a strategic turning point. That said, the ultimate constraint is still time. Robotaxi can't wait forever. Optimus can't wait forever. The AI race won't pause. Waymo, NVIDIA, TSMC, Samsung, BYD, Toyota, robotics companies, and AI labs are all moving forward. If Terrafab takes too many years to reach meaningful production scale, Tesla will still have to rely on external suppliers during its most critical phase. And that's exactly why Terrafab may become one of the most compelling stories of this decade. Not simply because Elon Musk is launching another ambitious project, but because this one touches the future of the tech industry itself. Giga Texas is just the starting point. Intel is only the first piece of the puzzle. And that's our full perspective on Terrafab in today's episode. Hope you now have a clear understanding of the project. Finally, what do you think? Is Terrafab a smart move or a risky gamble? Is it too ambitious even for Elon Musk? Drop a comment below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.